great.
You've just killed a small animal. It's time for a light beer.
Eat steak and drink whiskey.
I'm talking about Mad Dog 2020.
Come on, we'll bless them all until we get fish naked.
Well, you can drink water, but don't you eat the ice. Take a vitamin T with some lemon slice.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking.
Because the more I drink, the more I drink. Then I'm the world's greatest lover and a dancing machine.
And there's a beverage here, huh?
All right, here we go. Here we go. Welcome, everyone, to Happy Hour presented by Hot Breath Pro. This brand new show within Hot Breath. I am so very excited to be doing this show. It's going to be all about comedy, especially everything going on in Hot Breath. And for my guest host, the person I have to really thank the most is our guest host for today, the one and only, the godfather of Hot Breath, the trophy husband. That's right. Joel Biden.
Wow, we out here. What's goody, Hot Breath of Earth? What's goody, Bo? How we doing, my friend?
Oh, Joel, how are you, my friend?
I'm so good, Bo. I'm so good. It's so great to connect with you here because you've actually been on the podcast, I think, the past 3 weeks. I think the past 3 episodes you've made like this today. This week was Angela Johnson, who you made a cameo. Last week was when you did your own Hot Breath Pro podcast with James P. Connolly. And then the week before that was when we did our writing coaching session together. So you're like, you've been on Hot Breath 3 weeks in a row, my friend.
I think Connolly made the 4th interview I did on Hot Breath, my first solo.
Yeah.
So we had like Kostaki, we had
Joke Doctor,
the Joke Doctor, then Angela, and then James. That was my first solo mission, and now Steve North, who's now our first guy for our new adventure. So yeah, I mean that's something to probably we kind of need to talk about. We have a brand new adventure in Hot Breath called the Hot Breath Pro Talks. And this first season is all about the authors. So Steve North was definitely our first author. Well, we won't give any information on who else is coming up, but there's like, we're stacked. We're like stacked with authors.
Dude. Yo.
I just got another confirmation today for another author. And so I think we have like 4 or 5 coming up now.
And we're not talking like, these aren't just like authors that kind of wrote some pamphlet and we're hanging out at festivals. Like these are the authors. Like if you look at your bookshelf and you have a comedy writing book, chances are that author is coming onto this series. Like,
right. They're heavy.
We're not aiming for the middle here. Sorry.
They're definitely the heavy hitters.
I was blown away when you came up with the idea and we're booking people already. I was like, this is happening. And that's what Hot Breath is all about, is giving comics a platform to start creating their own success. And you've taken that full head on with helping book guests, doing your own interviews, producing the Zoom shows. Like you're definitely an example of like the intention of Hot Breath, which is let's give comics a place to create their own success. And you're taking full advantage of it, Bo. And an example of this is also this happy hour you're doing now. It's awesome.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting because had it not been for stumbling in on Right 10, which is like a year ago next month, I believe. And so we have that coming up on our normal shows are second Tuesdays. So next month it's going to be like the Right 10 anniversary with a lot of the original people who started with Right 10. And so that's a stacked show, but starting from last year And it's like we've pushed all the way forward with like everyone's like doing something shows. And so yeah, so I just like I want to do this and I want to do this. And I just found a few things that fit me. So, you know, as bad as 2020 was, comedy wise, it wasn't so bad.
I think we just made the most of a bad situation, you know, because I mean, for me personally, I just released a comedy special. This was my first year. 2020 was going to be my first year as like a touring headliner. Like I was actually booked. Like I was booked through the year. Like, I mean, not every weekend, but it's the most I've ever been booked. Is the most headlining I was going to be doing. This was really going to be like the next chapter in my comedy career. And it still is, but just in a different way. It's kind of like, oh, all of a sudden that's gone. So what do I have? Oh, I have this podcast. And then it just doubling down on the podcast and the community. And I'm so grateful. Like I'm grateful just to be able to pivot and just start to, whenever live shows do come back, we're all going to be hitting the ground running. So we're all going to be better for this as comics. Because you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react. So I think people in Hot Breathiverse are just reacting the best way they can. And I know it's not an easy time for people, and it's not all glitters and rainbow. Like it's a tough time out there for a lot of people. But that's why we have this community to just celebrate victories, but also be there to support each other in the rough spots as well.
Well, you know, it's kind of the interesting thing. You're a touring headliner. I'm like, wow, now with Hot Breath, you have like a farm system of openers and middle acts too. System. So it's like, hey, look, it's baseball season. I love some baseball. And so I'm thinking farm system, the minor leagues, like, you know, so you got like this whole like farm league, minor league system of openers and middle acts and spotlights. Like, so let's like, you know what, you, let's go. You this day. And it's like, so you've got like a nice, like everything is like really coming together. I think everything's coming up, Joel. I'm
excited, man. I'm excited. And even like our surprise guest today is a comic who's already booking people from Hot Breath Pro. Like that's a big goal of Hot Breath Pro, is to become like a resource for you to actually start getting paid to do comedy. And he's an example, or she, we won't give anything away, but an example of someone who is like not only just being active in the community and being helpful, but I mean, producing shows and booking members of Hot Breath Pro on there, you know, and that was a big motivation for starting that to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, our guest has definitely been a massive heavy hitter, and let's get our guest in. And, you know, so for the first episode of Happy Hour, is like, okay, we have so many people in Hot Breath Pro. There's like so many people to choose from, and a lot of people I love doing the virtual shows with them, writing with them, and everything else. And it's just like that was a very hard decision to pick. Like first co-host, that was easy. I got to give it to the guy who's like given me this opportunity. You know, all like you said, all the years of my like listening to comedy shows, Bob and Tom, and you know everything else. It's like, okay, I think I'm kind of ready for this. And so picking the co-host was easy. And next week we'll have a different co-host. But the first guest, that one was brutal.
It's a tough one to pick. But maybe like just tell people, because you've talked to me about what you want this show to be. Maybe for the people watching, you know, let them give them kind of a little overarching view of like what you want this show to be. Like what are we doing here, Bo?
All right. So the biggest purpose of this show is going to be really just making everything comedy. Like if you've ever listened to your morning radio comedy show, this is going to be it, but internet and Hot Breath. You know, we're going to talk about Hot Breath stuff, events coming up. We'll tell jokes. We'll have some laughs. We'll, you know, a little bit of everything. I know Aaron DeSpiva's out there writing some skits right now that is going to be absolutely hilarious. And so to get his puppets on here, his little troupe will be great. You know, I know Robin does a lot of improv stuff, so to get her on here to do some improv stuff. So I'm looking to get a lot of our Hot Breath pros, okay, to really just get in on here and do their thing, because we have a lot of producers and comics, but most of them have not seen each other yet. And so this is a nice way for our comics to like show off to our producers, and even for our producers to go, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for. This is where I'm at. This is what we're doing. and so people can reach them. So this is a nice way to bridge the connections. And then as we go along, then we'll start bringing in some of the right 10, the weekend winners. And, but I just want to start having some fun and just make a Tuesday evening, like just kick the evening off with some great laughs and some fun.
Yeah. And there's so much happening in Hot Breath. It's like a great place for people to come and catch up on exactly all the cool things happening.
Right. I mean, and that's the interesting part is because like, we have so much going on right now. Like you just finished the February contest, and congratulations to Andy. And Adam. Then Adam,
the winner,
Adam. Yes, Adam.
All white dudes with A names look the same. It's all good.
Look, God, look. I'm an educator. I'm allowed to screw up names on the first month. Okay, but you just doing great. Yeah. So you just finished that. We have You're going to have the March 10, the March competition coming up. We have a show coming up. We have open mics all around us now. Now we have like the Wednesday Right 10. I think there's isn't there like a Thursday Right 10 now?
Right after dark. Yeah.
There's almost like now we're having like a Right 10 AM and PM every day, every night. And it's like amazing. So it's almost to the point of like, what are we doing now? Like, where are we going with? Like, wait, what night is it? What are we doing? It's like Hot Breath is literally taking over comedy. So it's absolutely wonderful. And it's also a nice way because we are streaming live on the Comedy Writing Room. And so if people are interested, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to get on this pro thing.
Yeah.
There's the man. He's right there. Joel Byers, hit him up. But going back to our guest. Okay.
Yes.
Of all the people in Right 10, I love everybody. Like we have a great group, and there's like an actual sub OG group that we're just always chatting. And we actually did like a show on Aaron's on This Just In News, and it was just absolutely wonderful. But only one person I think has listened to your podcast, taken the advice of a lot of people, and hit the ground running, not in his 10th year, 5th year, 20th year, in his first year of comedy. Incredible. In my first year, I didn't even know what the hell I wanted to do.
Yeah, me neither.
I went from like, okay, check this out. When I did my first open mic, it was a bucket list thing. Okay, I just wrote some jokes and made a lot of people laugh, and I went, that was fun. Yeah. And so it just went to being an occasional thing. I didn't really wasn't going to take it serious. I didn't want a career. Then I was like, okay, the bug bit me. I got to do this. Kind of like Angela Johnson, she said it chose her, and this has chosen me. It's been a little bumpy of a road. I've had to learn a lot of stuff. I've never took a comedy class until I took yours. By the way, if you wanted to learn some comedy and some writing instruction, get some confidence, go to Joel Byers. Same place to go get Hot Pro. But my first year, I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't know. But this guy, and it is a guy. It's a man. It's a dude.
It is a guy. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler,
it's a guy. Guy-ish.
He's like joining Right 10. Then he's doing Hot Breath stuff. And then he's doing shows. And then he's going like, I've seen him going to all kinds of states. And then he's producing shows. And I actually did his show in September of last year. And that was one of the best shows I've ever done. Like that place was insanely fun, and
definitely a super spreader event. Yeah,
like, but not a super spreader of COVID.
Oh, it was
or any other thing. Yeah, or any other thing you might regret getting spread around. At least I didn't spread nothing around.
It was a great show, though. Very well produced, very well run.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our first guest is none other than John Chappell.
Hey!
He's got it down.
We out here.
I've been trying to cancel that hashtag, but it's just not working. So I'll just join it. Bring the dab back.
Bow.
Oh, he did the dab. You know what? I gotta say something. Like the dab thing is so dead, but Joel is literally trying to keep it on like life support.
It's a hashtag.
We were doing even. I don't even think Cam Newton even does the dab anymore. But Joel's going to keep that thing on life support. He's going to adopt it. He's going to raise it. He's going to make it his own.
Yep, nurturing it back to health.
Yeah, so like
In
Joel's
dabbing?
gonna, so that way when it does become popular, probably like God knows when, Joel said, look here's Shoddy, or however
We
you
out
say
here.
it.
We out here,
Yeah,
y'all.
you could say, look, it never left. I kept it here, and I've got that thing trademarked now.
That's facts. That's facts.
So-
I'm buying low and selling high, y'all.
Yeah, the dab is
That's-
kind of like COVID, right? Like it was hidden away in a little place, and then he's just trying to spread it.
It's a good point. Yeah. It's so catchy, you know, and it makes dancing accessible. I think for like honkies like me with no rhythm, but a lot of heart. I think the dab is like, it's a perfect dance. It's accessible. Anyone can do it, any age, any gender, any identity. Like a 90-year-old woman can dab and a 9-month-old can dab because that's all they do first. You know, they don't even really talk. They just kind of do this, and it's an intentional dab. You know, I think we can really start training the next wave of children to really just live in the dab. And the world is just so ugly right now anyway. Why not just hide yourself from it?
We need an animator on Hot Breath to do like a little cartoon of like the life of Guinness and just have it end with him dabbing. Like I think that would be great.
Dog
Just
dabbing is
just a
hilarious.
dog dab, like boom. You know, little animation of Guinness in his daily life of what's going on. You know, like maybe the thoughts inside his head. Okay, now I got to lay on his couch and do this right hand thing because my agent didn't get me enough money. And, you know, and then all of a sudden at the end, he gets more treats and he can stab. Or
That's
something
hilarious.
like that, you know.
And he is doing better. Thank you to everyone that reached out about concerns of Guinness. He is doing better. He caught something. It may have been my wife's cooking. And he had just been sick. No, that's not true. She doesn't cook. But
So therefore,
we're watching this, I hope. But yeah, he had
We're
been
watching
sick the
now.
past few nights, but today he's been bouncing back, and he hasn't puked or pooped anywhere in the house. So I think we're bouncing back. So thank you to all the kind words everyone shared as well.
man, Hot Breath is a dog person kind of community. In fact, we may have to do that one month that like the Hot Breath dog show comedy hour or something. I don't know. Just people with
love
dogs.
dogs,
And
yeah.
like I know like for May, we're gonna do a Mother's Day thing, and we'll probably do like a Father's Day thing for June. And then if we gotta do like a dog special, I don't know. We gotta
John met Guinness too. John's one of the
that's
few
right,
people that
'cause he
pet Guinness.
he
And
put
he
in your
liked
hot
me.
water heater.
Yeah, John
Like-
installed a water heater.
John
It's
is
just-
like
it's
in this
just water
whole
heater. Not
John's
not
in
hot
this
water
whole
heater.
echelon of like Hot Breath by himself. He's been to Joel's house. He's pet the dog. He's done all this stuff. And then, of course, you have EJ on his own echelon of Joel slept on my couch. And, you know, hopefully there wasn't a bunch of weird white women coming through.
EJ, I slept in his guest room, like down the hall from his children. EJ may have, like, I mean, anybody, I mean, it was I'm a stranger, and his wife's out of town, who are now divorced. I don't know if I had anything to do with it, but like, he just let me in his home and sleep. Like, I was one door down from his children. I was closer to his children than him. Like, it was bizarre. But maybe why they got divorced. But
I heard they got divorced because he kept bringing random men into the house. So, yeah, it probably was your fault.
Ooh, Joel, the house, the house. That's going to be the next special. Joel Byers house wrecker.
But that's what I like about the Hot Breathiverse. You know, it's like we were talking about with John's show booking. I think PJ, who I think he's in South Carolina right now. Like, so many members of the Hot Breathiverse are visiting each other and supporting each other. So when the world opens back up, I think that's going to be when we really shine. Right now, we're just kind of building up the momentum to when we can get out there. I think we're all going to be like just working with each other and connecting. And this is just one example of that.
Yeah, I mean that really is like, it's amazing on how much this is connected, because I mean, like, because of Right 10, last year I was able to meet some people and get connected to other spots, which led me to like going to do virtual shows for Flappers. And eventually when the world opens up, I can get on stage there in LA or Burbank. But it's because it all comes back to this. And then it's also because, like, one of my actual goals for 2020 was to do a show in Georgia. And it's like, boom. In fact, I was just reminded that like last Sunday would have been last year was my last show before all hell broke loose. And so it was like, oh my God, I'm never going to do my goals. And then all of a sudden John's reaching out like, hey, you want to do a show in Georgia? Yeah, I want to do a show in Georgia. Like, because I mean, you and I, Joel, even had that conversation where you were like, dude, you got to come down here. Your comedy will do better down here than it is for you in Charlotte. Like, he's doing good in Charlotte, but Georgia is where it's at. And because of John, I got to go down to Georgia. And I mean, those two shows were just absolute hilarious fun. I got a little nervous on the second one because the two comics before me got heckled like crazy by a mom and daughter, like heckled, like one guy almost got racially heckled. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to eat me alive. And
that
luckily
can be a rough crowd.
Yeah. Like it got a little rough but I got up on the second one and it was a lot of fun. There was an old lady in front that I just like bounced off of. And that's the first time I actually really did some good crowd work. And
nice.
but it was a lot of fun. Absolute fun, which is interesting. So like going to our guest, John, what made you decide to go in your first year, like just sprint it out? You went from comedy, like starting comedy to doing shows to doing producing. What inspired you to just shoot for the moon?
Well, when I decided to take the leap into doing comedy, I wanted to be as prepared as possible. So I believe I listened to about 200 hours of podcasts, something like that, before I ever started writing my first joke. That was The Hot Breath. It was Rick Roberts. It was like a handful of different types of comedy podcasts. But my first time on stage, my anniversary was last week. On Wednesday was my 1 year.
Oh, that's
and
awesome. Yeah.
So the first one I did, it was a 4-minute set at Eddie's Attic in Atlanta, and I was nervous as hell. I remember nothing from my set except for my leg trembling, and then when I stepped off the stage, my stomach just like cramped up and started hurting. And then I did 2 more shows, and then everything shut down. But everything I had learned from the podcast was, stage time is the most important thing. And the easiest way to get stage time is to produce your own shows. So even before everything shut down, the slow pour show that I do, that you both have done, we were talking before everything shut down, and they were interested, and then everything shut down. So I just spent that time figuring out what my path was going to be, and which way to go. So I tried to get funny first, and from there, as soon as I started seeing live shows start happening again at that venue, I reached out and they were like, okay, can we do a show in 2 weeks? And I was like, yes. So I built a stage. I went and bought some like can lights and put floodlights in them to have spotlights. They had a sound system and all the tables and chairs I needed. And so I went through and tried to book every good comedian that I had heard. And so I did a showcase show. I think I had 6 people on the first show, all some of the top talent in Atlanta. And it did great. We sold out. We sold 50 tickets for limited capacity. And I've sold out that show all but 2 times. And the 2 times I didn't sell it out, it's only been like a handful of tickets that were left. Wow. But it was all a lot of hot breath saying, get funny first, get stage time. Best way to get stage time is to host your own show. And the other show that I produce, the guy that owns that venue was at the first show, and came to check it out. And he came up to me afterwards and said, I've been to a lot of brewery shows, and it was always vulgar and nasty, and I never thought I would do comedy at my venue. But if you can produce a show like this at my venue, we'll do comedy. And so now I've been doing that show for, I think we've done 5 shows up there.
Wow. Incredible.
But yeah, it was just a matter of learning how to get better and pursuing it.
But also attention to details. You build the stage and you added the lights. I didn't realize you like added the lights and all that to their venue. That's wow. That's going the extra mile there.
John literally put the definition to ground up.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the total. That's like beyond the definition of ground up. Like to build the stage, put in the lights, like just do all of it like that much. That is an insane thing, but that is like it is paying off. Like it is really paying off. Like that was an amazing show. Like that was really one of the best shows I've ever done in my life or in my little tiny short career. So I will say that it was one of the best shows I've done so far.
Well, thank you.
Like even my wife's still talking to me like, man, that was a great show. The green room and all this other stuff, and the sets were great. All the comedians were great, and I mean, that was a lot of fun. Like, so if any comedians out there that are interested, like, if you're looking to go to Georgia and do some shows, you better send John your stuff and bring your A game. Like, definitely bring the A game. Like, if you don't have an A game, well, you better go find an A game. But yeah, like you better go find an A game. Like seriously, because that crowd will like destroy you if they're not especially the late one, especially after like they've got a few drinks in them. Like they will literally they will hurt you. They'll come for you. So bring the A game. Like it is an amazing show. So Joel, how's your sugar thing coming along? Like
my sugar thing?
You cut out what, everything?
No, I cut out alcohol this year. So
and coffee.
And coffee. Yeah, I've been coffee sober since the beginning of February. So I'm not sugar sober by any means. Okay. I quit alcohol this year because it was leading to me wanting to eat more sugar. So I kind of was cutting it at the source and not just taking out everything, but just taking out the source, which alcohol is just sugar at the end of the day. So I cut that out, and that's been helping with cravings, but I was eating chocolate before this. I turned the lights back on to do this, but I was in the dark in the corner just eating chocolate.
That is such the addict kind of thing to do, right? Just be in the dark, just going away at your little chocolate. Like even like right now, I have like I have an Irish coffee. So it's like the 3 biggest legal drugs you can do: sugar, alcohol, and coffee. So it's like, it's been a lot. Look, I work at an elementary school. And you don't understand. Yeah, you don't understand. Teachers are like batshit crazy at times. And like, so it's like, I'd say, it's 6:30. It's like, do I drink coffee or do I drink alcohol? And it's like, you know what? Go for both. So,
it is happy hour. I mean, yeah, that is a good point.
It is happy hour.
I thought teachers were responsible until I had friends that were teachers. I was just like, oh no, that guy was a drug dealer junior year, and now he's teaching math. Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I've actually heard of a teacher not long ago who actually got busted for selling drugs out of his classroom.
That's completely the wrong way to do it. You have to recruit a student to do it for you, and you have to be the silent partner.
Ooh,
you know what? To be honest, like students, especially high school students, they're learning to be little entrepreneurs because they don't really sell junk food anymore in schools. No chips, no candy, stuff like that. So you'd be surprised on how many students are have turned their locker into a 7-Eleven. And like selling Skittles and chips and Cheetos and whatever they can get their hands on, and probably some other stuff too. Ooh. And making a nice profit. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't turn anybody in when I was teaching high school, but I did kind of help out, be like, you got to like expand your profit margin. You got to do this, you got to do that. And then kick down with something for me, and which was, hey, Mr. Johnson, here's more coffee. So
yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Speaking of your sugar problem, have you seen the story about cocaine cornflakes?
I have. Had you heard of that, John?
No.
A shipment of cornflakes that left from
Yeah.
like Peru or something ended up in Cincinnati on its way to Japan, which I don't know how you go to Cincinnati, go to Japan. Was laced with cocaine.
Is that where they produce cornflakes? Is in Peru?
I don't know. Somehow the flight got diverted all the way to Cincinnati. Like, I know, like, what is it? Go Bananas is up in Cincinnati or something like that. But that's a whole new Go Bananas kind of thing.
Oh, Bo laughed at his own joke there.
Hey,
Right, guys? I thought of that
Craig
ahead of
Ferguson
time.
as Craig Ferguson used to say, made myself laugh. That's half the battle. So
It's true.
like, dude, that's like going above and beyond for your morning pick me up. Is like, you know what? I'll have some cornflakes and some cocaine all together with a little bit of milk.
This is totally like a morning radio show. I love that. I love like the topical with the jokes built in. Those, like the morning pick me up. Those are good, Bo.
That's a great pick. Hey, you know, that must be a teacher pick me up. It's like, hey, you know what? It's been a rough day. It's quarantine. And that's like not the way to do your quarantine lessons is coked up cornflakes. And
I'd imagine not. Yeah, I would imagine not. Probably want to do
No.
cocaine in front of children. I don't know if that's the move. But
Probably
yeah,
not.
sugar is cocaine. I mean, you know, it's addictive. They say it triggers your brain in the same way cocaine does. I mean, I've never seen anyone, you know, homeless, strung out on Krispy Kreme, but that doesn't mean it hasn't happened, you know. Been close a few times if I wasn't rescued.
but we've
that
seen your
chocolate
reaction
bar-
to like months and months of no sugar and coming back to sugar. And then like that was an insane time. That was like scary moment, but hilarious, Joel.
It's bad. It's
Like,
bad.
you went-
I'm under control now.
You went so long last year without sugar, and it was like I had sugar.
It was
Like, you
3
were just, like-
months.
Like, dude, you were bouncing all over the place.
Oh, I remember that. When the show where I had caramel,
Yes.
dude, I was having a mental breakdown on the internet and like
and
in
you
front of people that I thought respected me.
Well, we did
Hey,
up until then.
Well, and I think we still do.
He's been microdosing sugar ever since then, just to maintain levels.
I mean, the mornings I had breakdowns on Right 10 were like probably me coming down from like a sugar high the night before. Like I don't function well on it. Like I'm edgy, and it's not a pretty picture. And I take it too far. I you know, I'm in my 30s now. I got to keep it under wraps. I don't want to.
At some point, we're gonna have a
mid-30s,
hot breath intervention of Joel.
Mid-30s. I'm 33. Is that mid-30s?
I say so.
I could literally see like me and John and Robin and maybe PJ and maybe one other sitting down with your wife going, all right, Joel, you have a problem. You have ADD. You're a comic and you're terrible with sugar and caramel, especially. We got to get you some help. But there's no like Sugarholics Anonymous. And so we're going to have to start one just because it's like you're all over the place, but it is funny to watch.
It's a real thing. I'm telling you, sugar is the new tobacco. We're going to get to a point to where it's normal that people are like, wait, does that have sugar in that? Or how much sugar does that have?
No,
I mean, I've seen it like, I like saw my aunt on life support dying because of her diet. Like I've sat in a room all day with that situation and was like, oh, this doesn't end great. But not to bring it down that much. I was trying to take it off me and onto, but life. But at the end of the day, yeah. I mean, my DOC is cereal. I haven't been on cereal in a hot minute. It's been a while. So as long as I stay away from cereal, because cereal, you get like the double whammy. Like cereal, you get to eat the sugar, but then there's that sugar soup at the end, like a sous vide of sugar that you have at the end there. You can just kind of like shoot back like a shot. And then
That's what Marty said in the comments. Marty said Joel takes his sugar with a spoon and a lighter.
Oh God. Oh
It
Lord.
sounds like exactly what you're describing.
That's facts. That's facts. And Micah said PJ is sitting on my couch.
Yeah, he's crashing at Micah's house for a little while. We're gonna be doing some shows, like some open mics or something together here shortly. So
we were just talking about hot brethren and sister and staying with each other, and now there's a sign right now. Don't blow this, PJ. Don't make it weird, bro.
I don't screw it up, PJ.
Chill. All right, we're trying to do something positive here.
I will say PJ's like a really good guy. Like I probably need to get him on here next week.
You don't know PJ. You've never met him. You've seen him on the internet.
Look, we're definitely brothers from another mother. Like we're probably it's probably a bad thing if we get together because like it could be hell.
Oh, does he drink on weekdays also?
I don't know about that part, but he might be a natural high kind of guy. If you've ever seen The Big Lebowski, he's like this punked out dude kind of guy. But he's just so punked out or something. I don't know what it is. Tattooed. I don't know. PJ, I love you. You're a good guy. But yeah, so he's down here in the Carolinas. Micah kidnapped him and took him to a vegan restaurant.
Hilarious.
So I'm gonna have to do a hostage negotiation for his release just so I can get him some ribs. And but I mean, if you've ever seen like Micah live, like Micah is absolutely hilarious. And like she's in her I think she's in her first year. She is watching, so she'll probably correct me if I'm wrong, but she's absolutely hilarious too. And like she's tearing it up down here in the Carolinas. So I'm seeing her everywhere.
She's an OG. She was like the first person from Hot Breath to like come out and see like my shows. Like she came to some early shows of mine and like showed support. So yeah, Micah's been in it to win it for a long time now.
And an amazing photographer. Like my last show I did with her, she was taking some pictures and like got some great shots of me. I was like, wow, hey, I didn't know I looked like that. You know, I always said I had the face for radio.
Yeah. Like that's what they do. Is like, get out of your comfort zone, do more than just stand up, you know? And I mean, everyone here on this panel does more than just stand up, and people in the Hot Breathiverse, you know, some people design flyers, some people take photos, like some people edit videos, like do more than one thing. You know, I think that's something probably Andrew Schultz mentioned on our podcast with him was like, you're everything now as a comic. You know, you're the writer, you're the producer, you're the director, you're the editor, like do everything. And several comics have said that. And, you know, I take photos as well. I would do Photoshop and edit video, and it's just things you learn over time. But like the more self-sustaining you can be, that's how you're going to start creating your success that much more quickly. And if it's not necessarily designing your own things, but like John building a stage and understanding lighting and production and building an email list off of your live shows and things like that. I mean, there's so many different things beyond just delivering jokes on stage that this game requires.
Lock your doors, Joel. PJ said he's coming for you in Georgia.
Coming for me?
Lock the doors. Hi, Guinness. And yeah, I don't know what to say about the sugar part.
Did he say something about sugar?
No, I'm just saying.
But sugar it's white like cocaine. It's a fine powder, you know.
Look, people don't understand. Like, look, we always know about the war on drugs, but sugar's caused a lot of wars too. You just don't read it in the history books because like that's our dirty little secret. So,
and if you want to know more, listen to Bo's writing session on the Hot Breath podcast because they talk a lot about the sugar war.
Yeah, we go. He sent me some leaks afterwards. Thanks for listening, John.
Always.
That was
we were talking about booking Hot Breath people, and I actually booked somebody this week. I'm not going to say who it is, but I've booked them for July to come down and do both of my shows.
Nice.
And it's somebody that everybody in the Hot Breathiverse will recognize when I do post out the flyers. But I'm excited because I was able to book them. I've been talking to them for a while, and it worked out where they hit me up and were like, hey, do you have anything this week? And it's the week of both of my shows in July. So I'm able to put on both of my shows.
So it's a he.
It's a them, actually.
It's a them. Buster Cubs.
No, they're a little bit farther out than that. Probably at least like a 10-hour drive or more.
Oh, for the theys coming in?
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Theys in July. That's awesome. When are your shows coming back, John?
They never left.
Y'all are still doing them in the
he's
Super
rolling
Spreader room?
Yeah.
It was deep when I was in there. That was sold out to the not social distance. That was
it was socially distanced.
So it never closed. But maybe when it opens up, they'll be outdoors. Well, I don't know. Because they have an outdoor space there too, but the sound system is inside. It was a great show though, dude. Great show.
Yeah, and the goal of that venue, I think, is to go into the big room. Like they'll shut down the brewery for the whole night and go into the big room.
Yeah.
There was definitely not an empty seat for both shows that I was at. So it was definitely rocking that night.
And you're smart too, and that's something for people that want to produce a show. And that's something I always aimed for as well in terms of producing shows where there aren't shows. So it's like my first show at called Funny Monkey was in Decatur, like a suburb of Atlanta where there weren't comedy shows. And then I did one in my town here at a brewery where there weren't comedy shows, and you can really rally the community around your shows. Is that how you've been able to like get a consistent fan base there, John? How are you like selling these things out?
Yeah. So the one that's near my house, there's a lot of people who return every month to the show.
Yes.
And it's word of mouth. It's people telling people. The one that's a little farther out, I don't do anything to sell tickets for that. The venue does everything as far as selling tickets because it's a small town with like 11,000 people, and they're like a big part of the community. So they can pretty much just put a flyer out and people buy the tickets.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, that's one of the places that you're talking about. Like there was most of the people that have come to the comedy shows up there have probably never been to a comedy show and will not drive into Atlanta to go to one. So you put it in their backyard and it's going to be a new experience for them. And if they enjoy it, they'll keep coming back.
Mm-hmm. And telling people, that's the most important, is that the retention of your audience, like putting on a quality show that people will tell other people and come back to. That's what it's all about.
Yep. And
a venue
every month I'll promote it to different groups of people that I know. Because I've got kind of like pockets of people from different areas of my life, whether it be my kids' softball or people from work or people I hang out with outside of work and stuff like that. So I'm not hitting up the same people to come to the show every month. Like every few months I'll hit up this group or whatever.
Smart. Are you with us, Bo?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just listening to John because it's amazing to see what he's done. And we have like 3 producers here in the Charlotte area, and it's just like amazing to watch like these rooms pop up all of a sudden. Especially, we're still in this pandemic, but it's amazing to see the amount of shows that are popping up. And now this virtual stuff, virtual shows are becoming very interesting, and a lot to learn from it, because this is a totally different ball game. Like this is a massively different game. And it's been interesting because you could see like the people who have forgotten their material or don't know their material anymore, because you can watch the eyes go. And then this happened, and then that, and it's like, then they lose and they're like not generating it. And so for any comics out there, if you don't know your stuff, have it memorized before you go into that virtual show, you're doing yourself a discredit. Like it's a good thing if you're trying some new material and do like James P. Connolly said in the interview that I did, is like use those like, I can't even remember the teleprompter skills where you can just like quickly look up and like come back down, but like really know your material. Like
I feel like there's something we can do like with these virtual shows. Like right now the format is Zoom link, Zoom show, DM me to get the Zoom link, and then it's like us talking on a Zoom conference basically. Like I feel like there's something we could do to like push the format forward. I don't know what it is, but right now it's like and this isn't just in Hot Breath, all comics are basically doing the same thing. It's like Zoom show. Here's a link. You can join. And like some people do ticketing through Eventbrite or whatnot, send out the links that way. But right now it's all like we're on Zoom, spotlight the person talking, and this is the format. I feel like, I mean, it's such a new concept. I would love for Hot Breath to figure out like the next iteration of this premise of a virtual show. How can we make it our own? You know what I mean? And not just like another iteration of another Zoom show. Have you guys even like thought of that? Of like, this is
how to make it better?
What could it be?
So
yeah, how to make it better?
The thing that I've been considering, and I just don't know how to do it because I'm not as tech savvy as some others. But I was thinking about streaming my live shows on Zoom and selling tickets for it. And so basically the stage would be highlighted the whole time. And if you want, you can mute the whole crowd, but you'll have a live crowd laughing. It's kind of like what Kev on Stage does.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
That's I was thinking about doing that before I heard his interview, but he obviously does a really good job. I don't know what format he sells tickets in, but if you can do it on Zoom effectively, I think that would be one way to be able to sell additional tickets and people can see live comedy.
Yeah. I wonder because, go ahead, Bo.
I was going to say, I mean, there's one comic, and I can never remember how to pronounce her last name, Marianne, or I can't remember her last name, but she's actually putting out a special where she's like, it's called Live from the Pandemic, and she did the whole special from her garage and treated it like any other. And that's going to be the other thing is like comics, don't sit down. Don't sit just because it's a Zoom show and you're at home. Don't sit down. Like stand up because you're like that comfort level of sitting down kind of will take away from it, but you definitely got to stand up, and you don't really have to be that close to the mic, to the screen, the camera, but like really appear like you're standing up, like just treat it like any other live show. But as for the other part, it's like how to make this completely different. That's going to be an interesting piece because we really do need to take it there.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's that VR failed to render, but then that's a whole thing of like, now people need like virtual reality goggles to see it, you know? Cause there's a show, I think they do like an open mic. That's I think VR, right? Failed to render. Have you guys heard of that?
I have heard of it. I don't know much about it because I don't do virtual. Yeah. Like who can afford virtual reality? I mean, come on.
But the idea, I don't hate. I like John's idea because I have been thinking of how we can, kind of do what Kev on Stage is doing, you know, but he's doing it. It's kind of like I don't know. I mean, on Zoom is one level and like one level of quality you get. But I mean, what Kev is doing, I think, is like multicam live stream with like HD cameras and whatnot. But even if there's a way for like how like you have Andrew, and another thing that John does is he has someone filming it and photographing the show. Another additional like way to add value to the show. Another detail. And at my shows, I would be the one running around taking pictures while comics are up there. Like I was doing it all, but it's another detail that adds professionalism to your production. But maybe there's a way if Andrew knew how to somehow connect his camera to the internet and somehow do like a high def live stream of it. Cause maybe a Zoom is sufficient. I don't know. I'm just looking at it at the highest level, which is like Kev on Stage right now, like HD streaming with multicam. Even if it's like the clips you share with the comics, John, like just a tight shot of them in HD, that may be enough to like sell tickets to, you know. But I don't know if that's something Andrew would know about or not. But if we get that going, I bet that would be a way that you could sell additional tickets and pushing that virtual show format forward.
It's definitely something that needs to be looked at because I mean everything I'm hearing, like virtual shows are here to stay. Like
I don't think they're going anywhere.
New thing in comedy, like, and even after the pandemic is over, like virtual shows are here. Like we need to start getting used to it and figure it out, understand it, and I mean it's a whole new. It's a look. It's just like, you know, people trying to figure out space right now. figure it out, understand it, and use it to our best abilities.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking at a lot is like, what is, because everything's so new and everyone's trying to figure it out. No one knows. No one's like, I remember the last time I was in a pandemic and my entire industry got flipped upside down. You know, we're all trying to figure it out. So it's kind of like looking at what we're doing and what could be done better, and how can Hot Breath like kind of be at the forefront of that, being a trendsetter within that. So there is something to like the virtual format right now is just Zoom conference. There's got to be a way we can push that forward, you know? So it's not a solution we're finding today, but it's something that's been like swirling in my mind for a while now. Just there's got to be a better way, you know?
I think another option could be to book people from all over the country on Zoom and televise it in a live room. So like the Zoom that they hear is a live audience laughing.
Yeah.
But the audience is actually watching it like on a big screen, and they get to see comics from all over the country. That'd be another way. It'd be like the reverse of it. Instead of having live comedy on stage, you do the live comedy on Zoom with an actual crowd.
Oh, that's
I don't know. I think you would have to do like a free show for the crowd, but sell tickets on Zoom, because I don't know that people are going to want to pay to watch TV and see comics on TV unless it's somebody they already know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you kind of have, yeah, we really have a point, because I know for one of the biggest things with doing Zoom shows is that awkwardness, because you know there like a lot of people have that time lag, and you've hit that one punchline, you get a few chuckles, and then all of a sudden you're going to that next joke, and all of a sudden the laughs are coming in, and that throws you off. And like I have watched comics who've been doing this longer than I have go from I'm happy to be here, this is great, and then those lack of laughs because people also have their mics turned off. That face go from oh no, full blown panic mode and retreat. You know, I mean, even I've done it too, because you know it's a whole new world. So you like actually John has a really good point of if we actually could do this on a stage with some people there, so you're getting that laughter, like comics can get it a little bit more comfortable, because it's like, wait a minute, all this stuff's worked before everywhere else. Why is it not working on Zoom? And then you can get that Zoom laughter too. So there's definitely an interesting solution to it.
Yeah, that's the big thing with like Kev on Stage. And I was just looking up, there's another thing going on in New York called Mint Comedy, MINT. They're doing stuff out of the Comedy Cellar, but I think it's like Kev on Stage. It's just highly produced comedy shows that they're live streaming with like a somewhat of a live audience. So there is that live audience. Yeah. So they have like kind of like I don't know why I'm showing you this. That won't track. But there is somewhat of a live audience to give you that comedy show feel, but they're really just selling tickets online. Interesting. Yeah, that was another one that popped in my head I wanted to say out loud in case someone's watching and wanted to check it out and be like, "Ooh, how could we do that?" You know?
Well, perhaps this is also one of those things of like we just got to figure out the base of it, of how to do this, and then go to the money part. I don't know.
Yeah, you want the production side watertight, because like John was talking about the retention of his audience. Same thing with a virtual show. Like you put on a good show, people will tell other people. If you put on a bad show, people will tell even more people.
Yeah.
Right. You know? Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back to the whole kind of, I guess, like the way, you know, a while back, I think it was during a Q&A, Joel, you'd said how to start like getting those bookings as you're producing your own tour and you're getting those email lists. I mean, this is going to have to be like if y'all did not, well, I don't know. Are the Q&A still up? I don't know. If you missed it, you missed it. I don't know. See, join Hot Breath Pro, get in on the Wednesday Q&A, same time as this show. Only on Wednesdays, not Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific, and whatever time it is in Japan. And get that Q&A and like that good information from Joel, like the stuff you don't hear on Rate 10,
like how to dab.
And there he goes dabbing again.
Yeah, you say it when you do it, right?
You gotta say it when you do it. Dab. dab.
I bet when Joel's like high, so completely high on caramel, he just goes around the house on
It's bad. I mean,
like dabbing everywhere. Like I bet Aaron's ready to cut your arms off at this point with the dabbing.
oh, she hates it. Those are her words. She hates the dab. And I asked her why, and she said because I love it so much. That's what my wife told me.
sense.
I hate it
Is
because
that the
you love it.
definition?
John, that tracks. Yeah, that's about right.
That's the definition of a love-hate relationship. He loves it, I hate it.
Armory says he doesn't know what dabbing is. You need to do a tutorial.
What?
A tutorial on
Says, Armory
dabbing?
said, I don't know what dabbing is, so you need to do a tutorial on dabbing.
Oh
Apparently.
wow.
Gosh.
Can you give us like the 60-second version of what a dab is?
So a dab at its core, ladies and gentlemen, it's just this is
At its
serious.
core.
This is funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hot Breath Pro presents to you how to dab. With
Presented by Eddie Bauer.
Presented by Eddie Bauer.
So a dab is it's the universal dance. We can all do it. If you have two left feet, all you need is one arm. If you don't have any arms, you can still it's all in the core at the end of the day. It's more like a dabber size. I think that's the rebrand. So many people in the old dab way really lean into the arm, and they really think it's about the arm, and you just kind of hide it like a heads up 7-Up and you move it on. For 2021, the next level, the next generation of the dab is from the core. And that's why, as John said, you got to say dab when you do it, because you're actually exhaling to really get all that air out of there. So before you even like get your arm into it, focus on this torque and just go dab, dab, dab. And then as you get more hard, the arm just kind of naturally comes in as like a celebration of that dab. But it all starts with the core. It's a torque that you then dab. So don't even focus on the arm, because what I found when you use bad form, your shoulder really, like this part of your choder right here, this part of your choder, it really gets sore. I call that when you get the dababetus. That's what I call that in your shoulder.
Is Choder more of that honky bonics?
Choder, this is your choder. This is your choder, Bo. Okay, this is
Somebody said you're fast like Usain Bolt.
Hey,
God.
it's practice, y'all. It's practice. I wasn't born this way. Y'all new to this. I grew to this. Yeah, I mean, so it's all a process, but start with the core. It all comes from the core. And when you get that torque, then you bring in the dab, and you got to say dab to really get that extra air out. Dab. So start with the core, and you guys try this real quick. So let's all try this real quick.
That is not going to happen on Joel.
I was
he
just
has
about to give the disclaimer. Do not try this at home, because there are dangers involved, like hitting yourself in the face and losing all of your friends.
Yes, that's true. Those are two side effects of the dab.
And see, like John and I, we have like kids, and so that's gonna be like, oh my god, that's so embarrassing. Don't do that.
What are the
You
kids?
just have a wife and a dog.
What do kids don't dab?
Not anymore.
What do they do?
I don't know, but they would disown me if I dabbed.
Yeah.
But it's
You know what?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna
you
start
just
dabbing.
embarrassed
I'm
me.
gonna start dabbing.
So that's
Okay.
the dab at the core. Is it's from the core, and then when you say to get the extra torque out, you go dab. So it's more of an exercise, is what we're getting fit. 2021 is all about that dabber size.
Have
So
you
how
seen
about
me?
Helped y'all.
Have you
Right, Joel.
seen me? I don't exercise.
Well, there's a way to start. This is very accessible. Dab. You don't have to go out and buy a Bowflex and then leave it in your garage for 6 years and try to sell it on Craigslist.
But also don't do it with a dumbbell in your hand, because you're gonna knock yourself out.
You got to
All right,
work
Joel.
to that.
All right, Joel,
Remember,
the big
be careful on your
question.
shoulder.
All right, Joel, the big question is, have you dabbed as you sneezed?
Oh, without question. More have I dabbed without. Oh, look, Bo. Okay, Bo hit him with
There
a
you go.
fadeaway. We
Like-
call that a
like-
fadeaway in this game. He hit him with a yo.
Like I have seen people do the dab sneeze. That's the only way some people dab, just because they know it's not cool, but they really want to do it. Is like, oh, I got to sneeze, I can dab. You know,
It's like, but I like Bo goes out of frame to dab. He's still embarrassed. It's a process, you know. It's uncomfortable at first, but the more you do it, it's just like it's more rewarding when you're like, ah. So from the core, remember, good posture, get your prawn all centered, shoulders down, torque with the core, and then you dab. This is just like finesse. At the end of the day, this is the finesse. It's all coming from the core. So just remember that when you guys
more
are
like
dabbing
the
out there.
robot.
Joel. Yeah, so Joel's new thing is exercise with Joel, and this episode is going to be about the dab, how to work your shoulder.
Yeah,
However he says it, shoulder.
shoulder.
And
CH?
dab your shoulder into like some fitness, and then the rest of you, we don't know what to do about the rest of you. At least your shoulders will be like in shape, you know.
I think it's. I mean, dabber size. I've really thought about doing, like an exercise video called the dabber size, because then you can start to get the legs involved into it, and you can really. But these are advanced moves. You know,
Do you
these are
want
advanced
people
moves.
to? You want people to use their legs to dab?
It just
Now
adds
Is that
really-
legal in Georgia?
I really understand why Aaron hates it now. I get it. Like,
You guys asked for it, you know.
I didn't mean for you to go like, "Hey, dab with your legs." Like, wow.
These are advanced moves. You know that's
I didn't
level two.
ask for your business plan on dabbing. Okay?
That's like dab contortionists, you know? Like, can
He's
you
got a
imagine
whole
watching those
business plan just
contortionists
on
dab? Like,
dabbing.
here, watch this. Boom. With their legs are just going up, and then there goes their head. And...
I was honestly like, I was talking with Caramel, Caramel before this, because we did the Q&A with Charlie Barons today. Are you guys familiar with Charlie Barons?
I am now.
Huge social media, like killing it in the game, and he gave a lot of good tips on how you can find like your online persona and really start to create content around it. And a tip for those of you who haven't seen it was that you just list 10 things unique about you and just start creating content about those unique aspects, and then which ones stick. Wait, what's happening? Are y'all messaging each other?
Dude,
Y'all
no.
both started laughing.
Look, June
No,
said, "Thank you for solidifying to my 17-year-old son who just walked in the room how cool my comedy friends are." June is like this sweet Christian comedian, and here we are talking about dabbing with your legs, and her 17-year-old walks in.
That's what I love about Hot Breath is I picture some of y'all like with families on Zoom at 9:30 yelling into your computer, and like I can only imagine me being a teenager and my parents in a closed door yelling random jokes to like their comedy friends. They're like, wow, Mom's really lost it during quarantine, hasn't she? She's a comedian now? What? Friends are dabbing? I think Imri said dabbing will be the new secret handshake. Someone did say that. The Hot Breath handshake. Oh, Jody said that. The dab is the Hot Breath handshake.
Oh, somebody said, so to be clear, this isn't a mental breakdown.
So apparently the chocolate that Joel had before coming on had caramel center in it. I know the Easter candy is out already, and so that usually has a lot of caramel in it. So I think we know what Joel was doing in the dark.
But guys, I was cool until you brought up the dab. I mean, I was just even. I just had enough like chocolate just to even me out. And then like you brought up the dab, and I was like, "Yo, let's go."
Hey,
Let's
there's the
go.
name for your next special, Dab Dork.
Dab dork.
I don't know. It's just weird. It was funny though.
Yeah.
It was funny. Well, if you have to say it,
it was funny to me. Like that would be great because it just rolled off the tongue. You know,
There's the problem. It was funny to you.
I know. I'm sorry. Not all jokes land.
No, that's true. That is true. Damn.
No, but the dabbing is very interesting. And I really had to know if you've ever done the dab sneeze, because I've watched people like do it purposely.
Oh yeah.
Just because they won't dab any other time, and they just
I
have
only
to
do
like.
it. Those are the gateway dabs. Sneezing is like the gateway dab. But what I was saying, I guess, about Charlie, he made me want to start thinking about like content I want to create for me as a comedian, and then I was talking to Caramel about it. And she's like, so you want to be the dabbing comedian now? So I don't know. I don't know what I want to. I don't know what my persona. I don't know if I'm trophy husband. I don't know if it's dabbing, if it's white boy Joel. I don't know. But if y'all want to create an avatar and start,
that's gonna be a new shirt of Joel going like,
yeah, there it is.
You really need to have that shirt. And like I'm telling you, like I know we have to have an animator somewhere in Hot Breath to do like that little cartoon short of Guinness and just have him dab at the end.
Guinness dabbing is hilarious.
Like that would be absolutely funny. Like that's gold right there. But yeah, I can see it. I can see a Joel shirt, and on the back it's just.
See, it's addiction,
and then you could give it to your wife for her birthday.
But okay, just a few minutes ago, neither of you would dab, and now Bo has dabbed almost as much as I have.
See, you
John
gotta have an excuse to do it.
Joe, as soon as John came on, he dabbed. See, it's like dabbing. It's like the gift that keeps on giving that people hate to accept.
Like herpes.
Well,
so Jody just said, by the way, a dab is a portion of marijuana. I don't know.
I've heard of the dab.
The dab.
Yeah, dab
with that.
Yeah, dabbing in the weed world, like weed's getting like cracky. I don't trust weed anymore. That it's getting too strong. The dabbing is like, I think it's like I think it's just THC and people smoke it like a crack rock. Like it's like there's a lot of weird stuff involved with it. I don't trust any of that anymore.
I don't know. I just go for a spoonful of sugar. And
yeah.
All right, gentlemen. So
I did want to touch on one more thing.
Go for it, John.
One thing that I've done, I travel a lot for work to go see my kids play sports, stuff like that. And every time I go out of town, I'm always looking for an open mic, a show, anything where I can get 5 minutes. And it's worked out. I've been able to perform out in Little Rock, Arkansas, Charleston, South Carolina. I performed out in Huntsville, Alabama with Robin at Shenanigans. But just trying to find different places. And I actually did the open mic out in Charleston twice and have been invited to be booked on a show out there next month.
Ooh.
Just from my open mics.
Nice.
So just that's another thing I did that I think other people can do is, if you're going across the border to another state, see what they have, see what you can get on.
And most scenes have like a Facebook group or something that you could tap into and ask stage time there as well. But dude, at the Hot Breathiverse now, you could almost post in the group, and there's probably somebody that knows somebody in a scene you're going to.
Yeah. I mean, there literally is somebody from almost everywhere in this country that knows something going on. We just need like a really big Hot Breath database of stuff.
Imri's doing it with the Hot Breath Pros. Imri's creating that like global map of where everyone in Hot Breath Pro is.
Yeah, so we got people everywhere. Like India, I can't think of everything.
Why is that funny?
No, Sullivan just said, hey,
hey,
which reminds me of when she heckled me.
Hey. Oh, Sullivan. Oh my gosh. She was the one.
Yeah.
Laying pipe.
Because that's what she was like, hey, lay that pipe.
All right, y'all. It is like way past our.
Imagine what my kids are thinking out here as I yell, "Lay that pipe."
Lay that pipe. I know, but you're a plumber, so it all applies.
Yeah, true.
They're like he's in the daddy's working, dabbing.
well, we've learned a lot in this first episode of Happy Hour. We've learned stay away from cocaine cornflakes.
Yeah.
Dabbing is a trademark of Joel Byers Inc. So I don't know if Cam Newton has it trademarked yet or not, but if he doesn't, then that's all Joel. We've learned I don't know what else we learned.
What did we learn about John, Bo? Our guest.
John, look, if people want to get their game to the next level, like John is a fantastic example of get off your butt and get it done.
Yeah.
Like John makes me really do feel lazy. As far as anything is concerned, John makes me feel really, really lazy. But it's just like, dude, in your first year, you've like conquered so much more than most people in 10. And so bravo to you. I wish I had a sound effect right now to play. Yay. But I don't, because I don't have Joel's set up because
I think StreamYard can do all of that. This is your first time.
Yeah. We'll learn it. Hey, this is the first episode. We're getting there. I gotta contact somebody to get me a nice little intro, and
you're doing great, buddy.
Yeah. So, but we've learned a lot with this. This has actually been a whole lot of fun. I'm loving this. So I gotta get a new co-host for next week. And a host. I don't know who we're gonna get. We'll see as it gets there.
But give yourself credit too, Bo.
Huh?
You were giving John credit saying he makes you feel lazy, but give yourself credit. You're booking.
podcasts,
you're booking Zoom shows. You're doing this show. Like you're doing a lot too, man. So you're doing more than John. So give yourself credit. John's not doing anything.
We might be on the same. We might be on the same level, but I like seeing John out there just producing on his first year. Like I don't know of any other comedians that are just doing that. Like that's the big advice, but. Some people just have we're nervous. Like some people just get nervous with doing certain things and probably approaching a bar owner or whoever, a cafe shop, like, hey, can I do a comedy show here? Invite some comedians. That's kind of like, that's a whole new level of nerves.
Yeah. So. And you are doing a lot, Bo, like legitimately, and you're helping so many people with getting booked. Like for instance, Joan, who hadn't been on stage, hadn't done anything, but is a great joke writer. And she's been able to get the confidence up to come up and do some shows because of you. So no, look, we'll just say you're killing it on the Zoom stuff. I'm killing it on the live stuff because I'm able to. And
just because he has access to it. Yeah. He's not saying you're not.
Yeah. North Kakalaki still on lockdown. So,
as they should be. We're in the middle of a pandemic.
We can send our kids to school, but we cannot send our comics to stage.
Yo, and this is fun. Miss Lay That Pipe herself, Sullivan Hamilton, just joined Hot Breath Pro, everyone. Let's give her some love.
You're gonna really enjoy it, Sally.
Just joined Hot Breath Pro live on our first ever Hot Breath Happy Hour. That's great.
And as we are closing the show, because I am officially out of Irish coffee, and so I need more. Yeah, and so John, where can people find you if they are interested in trying to be on one of your shows? What can they send? Where can they send it to?
So probably the best thing to do is find me on Instagram. It's John Chappell Comedy, and DM me, and I can send you my email or whatever if you want to send videos. I have a lot of people just send videos through the DMs on there, but I do have quite a bit booked, and I have tons of people hitting me up all the time. So if I don't book you right away, it's not anything that you're doing. It's just I have a lot of people kind of in the pipeline, and then like the one I've got scheduled for July, kind of a special guest type thing, and we're going to change the format of the show just for them. But if anybody needs advice or help with running shows or finding venues, I'll more than happy to help with that too. So, well, whatever I can do to help anybody improve and get better.
Incredible.
then of course, for anybody that's actually watching that maybe just joined the writers room part or write 10, you're looking to get better. As we said earlier, Joel has the writing course, building your confidence, and other classes. And Joel, where can they find you? And join the pro, join the class, join the Guinness fan club. I don't know. Hey, we need a Guinness fan club. Oh my
A
god.
dabbing Guinness is dope. I love that.
Aaron
But
needs
honestly-
to create Guinness's own Instagram.
Look,
That's
if
a lot.
Guinness
I'm
gets
working
any
on my
bigger,
Instagram.
I said Aaron needs to do Guinness.
Oh, Aaron. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say I'm trying to figure out my own Instagram. Am I dabbing? Am I trophy husband? What am I doing?
I'll
if
even
Guinness
put a bet
gets
out
any
there.
bigger, like literally gets any bigger, he's gonna seriously need his own agent and like mani pedis all the time and a trust fund and probably be buying Joel some new internet.
It sounds
Whenever it
like
goes
I
out
need
again.
to start leveraging Guinness more.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm going to put a bet out there. If Aaron starts Guinness an Instagram page, he will get more followers than you.
Oh, the
No, dude.
challenge has been laid.
They did a poll. I mean, they've done studies that people prefer animals to people, and they did a poll where they compared ads that had a child in it and saying like help donate to this child's whatever, and it was an ad saying donate to this puppy's whatever, and it was like 75-25 in favor of the puppy. Like dogs, like people really do care about animals more than people.
Yeah,
For
it's
Wow.
after the last hour and 20 minutes is I understand why.
But you a dog, John. You a dog. But they love it.
All right, so
Yeah,
so
the-
Joel, if people don't know about how to get to the classes, Hot Breath Pro, where should they go? What should they do? Send smoke signals. I don't know.
yeah, everything is at joelbyerscomedy.com/hot breath pro. And we were talking about the classes and the workshops and all that. To make it easier for comics, I just put it all in Hot Breath Pro now. So when you join Hot Breath Pro, you get all of the classes and workshops we've been doing up to this point. So it's all in one place for comics to just come and level up their writing and become professionals, which is what everyone wants to do at the end of the day, make this their job. So I want Pro to be an easy way for comics to do that.
Yeah, I mean the class is definitely like the writing class alone. Like, had it not been for the writing class, I would not have come up with Java Junkie. Like, I just got to say that. Like, I would not have ever thought of that without the writing class. And yeah, so
But you put in the
bravo
work
to
though.
Joel.
See that I think that's the problem with
but it's the inspiration. Like the inspiration led to the writing, then the work. Like it just takes that little bit of inspiration. So
and accountability, which is what like the pro group is. It's like, I mean, because I've bought classes before and then maybe never looked at it, or like I looked at like 2 videos and was like, okay, I'll get back to that later, and there's just no accountability. So that's why I put the classes in Hot Breath Pro, because now it's like you have a place to hold you accountable to actually do the exercises in the class. Otherwise, you may do them or try to guess how to do them and never learn from it. Like John said at the beginning of this, like you learn comedy by doing it. Like there isn't a class that you're going to get that's going to all of a sudden be like, oh, that's how you do comedy. It's like, no, these are techniques that if you do a lot, you will get good at comedy and become a professional, but they only work if you do at the end of the day. So there isn't a silver bullet. It's just you have to put in the work, and Pro is that community of like other comics that are willing to put in the work and hold you accountable to do the same. Because I didn't have that. Like John's doing shows a year in. Like I wasn't even like, I didn't even know that was a thing a year in. And the amount of material people are writing, like, dude, I wouldn't have been banging my head against the wall for like 10 years in this game. A lot of it was just me guessing at open mics alone and confused, So it's very inspiring to you guys hold me accountable to keep writing and improving as well, but you're holding each other accountable and you're going to just be that much better for it. I mean, I'm so inspired by what y'all are doing, to be honest, because the old way of comedy was you go to open mics alone, you just try to guess what works, what doesn't, and then figure out what to do the next time. But that's now you have all these resources and people that you can connect with and really hold you accountable to really take comedy seriously.
I know. Yeah.
Most definitely.
And that
well, I
is the
appreciate you
final
guys thinking of me and having me on. I am honored to be your first guest, and I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, the person we
definitely.
wanted on wasn't available, so we decided, and we knew John wasn't doing anything. No, you were actually first. Yeah,
I heard he said the same thing about the co-host.
Lord. Yeah, Bert look, we start a brand new show, and Bert Kreischer still just ignores us. So the Bert watch is still on out there.
I'm not worried about it. We don't.
I did something to grab his attention last week or the week before. I sent him $1 on Venmo and said, "Can you please schedule your hot breath Q&A?"
Yep. Yeah, that was very clever. I mean, he's going to do it. And what's so cool about Hot Breath is like we're actually not reliant on like the celebrities. Like they're not the ones that make the show. Listen, Micah's coaching session has more listens than like the Cedric the Entertainer interview. Like it's more about the community than the celebrities. Celebrities are awesome and we will take all of them. But what actually does have the biggest impact is the community at the end of the day. So we'll get Bert. I'm not worried about it. But, you know, in the meantime, it's not like it's going to slow us up on anything. We're going to build it and they will come.
We're rolling. But yeah, so definitely thank you, John, for coming on, being the first host. Like I said, it was really a tough decision for me to make. And then it was like, you know what? There's only one person who's really showed that even in all this hell of pandemic, the show goes on and people can make it. So yeah, so definitely thank you for coming on. Joel, thank you for being the co-host today. And
thanks for having me, Bo. Great idea starting this up, you know, and the more white males that we can get on this show, the better, to really show the diversity of
I do not agree with that statement.
Oh, well, John's an immigrant. Never mind. John. So we got diversity.
I'm 5% Nigerian.
I'm just giving you a hard time, Bo. This was great.
I'm 20% Native American. So hey, white man.
No, but Bo, you wanted to start this to like highlight the Hot Breathiverse and all we're doing, and I mean I love it, man. So thank you for taking initiative on this, and I'm excited to see what it turns into.
So now next week I got to do something completely different, and we'll just get 2 white women. So
don't worry about it.
Joking.
Don't worry about it.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much.
John.
And
thanks for watching, everyone, though. And leaving
thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is on the Facebook. So if you missed like the beginning of it, go back and grab it. And this has been Happy Hour presented by Hot Breath Pro.
Woo! Thanks everyone for watching. Welcome to Pro Sullivan.
Bye.
Bye.